Oi, pessoal, bom dia, tudo bem? Não sei quantas pessoas já estão por aí, mas a gente vai dar uns minutinhos aqui para começar. Então, em seguida já começamos, só para esperar todo mundo entrar. Bom dia, pessoal, quem está chegando aí, a gente já vai começar, só esperando uns 5 minutinhos para todo mundo entrar. Bom dia, pessoal. Então, vamos começando aqui. Falei que a gente ia dar uns minutinhos para que todo mundo entrasse, mas acho que já temos bastante gente aí nos assistindo. Também, caso alguém não consiga assistir agora online, vai ficar gravado, depois a gente vai mandar o link para que todo mundo possa assistir. Hoje, apesar de a gente ter o fio aqui, vai ser uma apresentação um pouco em português e um pouco em inglês, já que todo mundo que está nos assistindo fala português, então eu e o Renan vamos fazer ela em português, e o Fio vai fazer a parte dele em inglês, depois a gente vai ter também os slides do Fio traduzidos para mandar para o pessoal. O que a gente vai falar hoje, né? Como usar a geolocalização para crescer nossa receita e engajamento. Então, primeiro de tudo aqui, bem-vindos. Nos apresentando, a gente tem aqui o Phil West, que ele é o VP de Strategic Partnerships da Bluedot. Depois ele vai contar um pouquinho mais o que a Bluedot faz, como que eles podem nos ajudar. Eu sou a Grazi, sou VP de Marketing Cloud aqui na Pmweb. E o Renan Polonio, que é o nosso gerente de Engenharia de Soluções, que nos ajuda a fazer com que essas tecnologias sejam todas integradas e atuem para que a gente gere mais receita e a visão do cliente no centro. Eu vou dar só um quick overview aqui do que é a Pmweb, né? O que a gente faz para quem não nos conhece. Então, a gente atua com CRM, né? CRM é o nosso core business, e a gente trabalha com grandes marcas de e-commerce, varejo, moda e viagens, com o posicionamento de criar relacionamentos únicos e em escala. Nós temos mais de 60 premiações internacionais nessas categorias, a gente trabalha mais de 25 anos com CRM e somos mais de 500 Pmwebers, principalmente em Porto Alegre e São Paulo, mas vários também de home office aí pelo nosso Brasil. A gente trabalha muito com first party data, né? Cada vez mais a gente tem escutado os desafios de trabalhar com cookies terceiros, com dados terceiros, e a importância dos dados primários, dos dados, né, dos first party data, para entender o comportamento do consumidor e entregar um relacionamento com esse cliente em escala. Aqui estão algumas das marcas que a gente atende. Então, a gente atende, como eu comentei, marcas de e-commerce, de varejo, companhia aérea, setor alimentício e várias outras marcas que a gente atua há mais de 10 anos trabalhando em ferramentas de marketing cloud, né? A gente tem uma metodologia própria, que é uma metodologia de mapeamento de life cycle, que a gente atua também com ela, onde a gente entende que a gente não pode focar em aquisição de clientes simplesmente para gerar uma conversão, e sim a gente trabalhar em aquisição de clientes para gerar relacionamento, e através desses vários pontos de relacionamento, que eles vão também no entendimento da localização do cliente, é isso que a gente vai falar mais hoje, gerar, sim, diversas oportunidades de conversão. Então, sair de um CRM que no passado trabalhava muito com e-mail, mas um CRM que hoje o push para marcas que têm aplicativo é um dos principais canais. E como que a gente consegue utilizar o push e todas a complexidade que ele tem e os features que ele tem, como a geolocalização, o geofence, para que a gente consiga ser mais relevante para cada cliente, né? Então, a gente faz essa personalização em todos os canais e todas as mensagens, né? Então, parar de buscar cliente para os nossos produtos e passar a buscar produtos que atendam às necessidades dos nossos clientes. E quando a gente fala em produto, né, e o que atende a necessidade do nosso cliente é que canal que ele quer se comunicar com a gente, né, que horário que ele quer se comunicar com a gente, quando que ele está perto das nossas lojas. E a gente identifica, implanta e opera as plataformas necessárias para que isso aconteça. Então, aqui só um desenho muito superficial até do que a gente faz. Então, a gente atua com todas as plataformas de marketing cloud, seja Oracle Responses, Salesforce, Braze, Emarces, todas as CDPs também, plataformas de CRO, plataformas de comunicação diferente de loja, através dos vários serviços e dados unindo isso tudo, e agora também com a Bluedot. Então, a gente está super feliz de falar que a Bluedot é o nosso novo parceiro. A Bluedot, ela integra com diversas marketing clouds. Ela veio muito por uma necessidade que começou com a Oracle, mas a gente depois, entendendo mais o que a Bluedot faz, e o Phil vai nos contar mais ainda, a gente entendeu que eles são um parceiro realmente muito relevante para que a gente consiga trabalhar geofence. E aí, né, indo na onda aqui do chat GPT, eu perguntei para ele qual é a diferença, né, de geolocation e geofence, tá? E isso é um ponto bem importante, que eu acho que a maioria das pessoas às vezes não sabe a diferença, né? A geolocalização, em resumo, eu vou deixar aqui depois para todo mundo ler, mas também dá para procurar. A geolocalização, ela determina uma localização geográfica de um dispositivo, enquanto o geofencing, ele é uma técnica de delimitação das áreas geográficas virtuais, né? E que pode funcionar e servir para acionamento, trigger, né? Que é o que a gente fala sempre, trigger de comunicações para um determinado dispositivo. Então, o geolocation é para determinar a posição de um dispositivo, e o geofence é quando esse dispositivo entra e sai de uma área e a gente consegue fazer uma comunicação trigada baseada nisso. Então, para isso, eu vou chamar o Phil. O Phil vai nos contar um pouquinho aqui sobre como que é o trabalho da Bluedot e como que a gente pode trabalhar juntos aí para fazer uma comunicação ainda mais relevante para os nossos clientes. Phil.
Thank you, Grazi. And first off, I apologize for having to do this in English. I wish I spoke Portuguese for the audience there, but wanted to give a little overview of Bluedot and who we are. We are a geolocation company, and what we do is we really help businesses drive marketing and customer engagement within a mobile app. So we are an SDK that gets installed within a mobile app. When I think about customers that have apps, typically it's your best customers that are downloading that app. And this is an amazing way to engage with them. So Grazi was talking before about mobile engagement tools, looking at CDPs, things like that, where you're engaging and learning about your customers. Geolocation is another way to do that. So we can do that with direct messaging. We can do that by passing that data back into your systems. We do all this, it's 100% software. We're able to get down to a few meters of accuracy with no latency for customers, which is, we're the only company in the world that can do that. And with that, we've been fortunate enough to win a couple of awards from Fast Company, being in their most innovative companies. This is for all technology in the SaaS realm. We had that last year, being able to win the Loyalty 360 award, as well as the QSR Magazine Applied Technology winner. So we've really been recognized for our technology and how we can help drive engagements for that brand. We're super excited to work with Pmweb. They are a preferred partner in Latin America. And we think this partnership is fantastic to move forward and help brands really engage with their customers. Next slide. So just a couple of our customers that we work with today. We work with McDonald's and KFC out of Australia. That is where our company was formed, as well as many other companies across the world and the United States as well. We work with both enterprise companies down to up and coming organizations that want to engage with their customers. And then we also have built out several integrations and partnerships, obviously the partnership with Pmweb, but we have integrations into mParticle segments as CDPs, Braze, Oracle responses, which I know we'll talk about a little bit later, Salesforce and Airship as well. So we've built those out internally and maintain those integrations to help our customers engage. So what's possible with geolocation? So I talked a little bit about this, is your best customers are typically those that download the app, and being able to engage with them with location is amazing. It's really the only way to really do that with your customers. So they've got their mobile app, they're on the go, they're moving around. And what we're able to do is to create geofences or geo lines, which I'll show you later, to really engage with those customers with smarter messaging. So this could be anything. I always think about messaging as transactional, educational, or promotional. And so it allows you to do all of these based on that person's location, to your store, to an area of interest, to something that might be going on in the world, where if they're at an event or by your store, we can help engage with them. And that could be around loyalty, marketing, gamification. Also, it allows you to collect amazing first-party data. These are things that your customers are opting into to allow. And so you're able to collect that data out, better understand your customers, and maybe engage with them in different ways. So this shows a typical geofence. So we took a shopping center in Rio, and what we did is we put a basic geofence around this location. And these can be as large or as small as you like. This is typically, we look at 100 to 200 meters, maybe something a little bit larger if we want to engage people as they sort of drive into these areas. So whether they're driving, walking, taking the bus, if they've got their phone with them, we're able to trigger that information, say, to responses, and responses is able to create an engagement, a push message to that user. So what we try to do is look at, are they in that area? Great data to collect and understand, but you can also drive engagement. So this next one shows a much tighter, smaller geofence that we've created. It's actually a polygon. We've actually done this around the entrance to this particular mall. So there's a side street to get off of the main highway in order to enter the mall. Again, this is great information for us. It's more targeted. I can really understand if they're actually going to that location, and maybe I'm targeting them before they actually enter the mall, or I want to collect that particular information. And then this shows a geofence that we've created that surrounds the mall. This one is fantastic for anybody who has a location where you're sharing that with other businesses. It's a mall, you've got parking. This is where I like to drive engagement or a push message to those users. How do we drive them into your store first? So if they're pulling into the mall for the day, they're decided to go shopping, can I give them an offer, remind them about credits they have, remind them about loyalty to really drive them in? We're also going to collect data. So we're going to get both an entry into that geofence as well as an exit. So we can understand how long they typically stay at the mall, where they engage, how they engage in that location. This can be very helpful for long-term, again, building out that profile for the customer. And then the final one that we want to show, and this is really where our technology shines, is to be able to create very small geofences or geolines. And so we can actually see when people enter a location. I've seen this used for reminders during the holiday, reminders if they sign up for a credit card, maybe they get a discount, engagements or offers when they actually enter the store. And then you're also able to get that entry and exit time to see what their dwell time is inside that location. You can see there a little red line. That's what we call our geo line. That is patented technology for Bluedot. And we use this to actually see if they've gone into that entrance. There is no lag or any type of latency for that. We'll know right when they cross that line. And again, you could deliver a message to them at that point. So what kind of messages do we see with leveraging geolocation? So this is a customer that had set up a geo line around the entrance to their store, which was a restaurant. And what they did is they were letting them know about an offer nearby. So they could drive in and receive that offer. So location-based promotions and offers, they help drive additional revenue and upsell for your customers. You can remind them about new things, new offers, new items they may want to look at in the store based on past behavior, and identify those customers in the area, whether or not they're walking or driving by. We can also set up alerts based on the location. So if they're driving in a certain location or side of the road, where maybe it's very difficult to cross to get to the other side to enter the store location, we can just set up a geo line around driving down one side of the road that your store or gas station, whatever it might be, is located on. We've seen that be very successful where they receive an offer and it's very easy for them to take advantage of it. So frictionless loyalty, again, this is one that is great with our technology. So timely rewards and offers, we've seen this quite often where many people will enter a store or location and not use their loyalty while they're shopping. So being able to just trigger a very basic message to remind them that they either have an offer that's available, or to remind them to use their loyalty, especially if you're rolling out a new loyalty program, can be key. We all, hope our employees are offering that up as they go through the checkout process or going through it, but it doesn't always happen. We know things get busy. So it's another great way to remind them to do that. And again, these are your best customers. So you definitely want to get them into that loyalty program and leveraging that loyalty program. The other one that's interesting is we've seen this grow quite a bit, where many apps will have offers based on their partnerships that they have out there. So this is just an example of actually an app I have here in the United States, Bank of America, where if I use my Bank of America card, I get a discount using certain services. Many of those are online, but there's also stores, physical locations that are there as well. So we can set up a geofence around that store and entrance. So when that user actually walks in, you can remind them, if you use that card today, you'll get that 10 to 5% discount or credit back to your account. This is incredible to help engage and remind them that they get that. It can also help increase that sale for your partner because they know they're getting a discount back on that purchase. So they're happy to maybe spend a few more dollars for that engagement. And so I'll hand it over to Renan now to talk a little bit about our engagement, especially with responses, which is one of our key partnerships.
Ok, thank you, Phil. Bom, pessoal, eu sou o Renan, sou do time Soluções aqui da Pmweb e eu vou explicar rapidamente como funciona a implementação ali da Bluedot, integrando com o Oracle Responses. Vou te passar aí. Bom, basicamente a integração ela vai acontecer no aplicativo. Então, a marca vai precisar adicionar o SDK da Bluedot no app e também já ter previamente ali o SDK do Response implementado. Uma vez que o SDK da Bluedot, né, estiver configurado no app e o usuário der o aceite da coleta da localização, a Bluedot vai ficar observando a localização do dispositivo e assim que essa localização der match com algum critério criado na plataforma da Bluedot, como, por exemplo, entrou numa área específica, o SDK da Bluedot vai disparar um evento do SDK da Response, carregando as informações dessa região e os parâmetros que foram configurados na Bluedot. Por sua vez, o SDK da Response, recebendo esse gatilho da Bluedot, dispara esse dispositivo para dentro de um programa da Response, trazendo, né, esses parâmetros que foram recebidos ali da Bluedot. No próximo slide, a gente vai ver um pouquinho mais na prática. Bom, então, nesse exemplo aqui na Bluedot, eu fiz um exemplo ali, eu criei 2 regiões. Temos ali o nome da região, no caso eu criei o escritório da Pmweb e a praça que fica ali logo à frente. Então, o nome da região poderia ser o nome da loja, por exemplo, é um dos parâmetros que vai ser enviado ali para a response, né, nesse exemplo. Também temos a opção de adicionar chaves e valores que também serão enviados para a response uma vez que acontecer o disparo dessa regra. Nesse exemplo, eu criei a chave cupom e o valor 15 off. Ali a gente pode criar qualquer chave e valor que a gente quiser. Então, assim que o usuário entra numa dessas regiões, por exemplo, o SDK da Bluedot envia o nome dessa região e os parâmetros ali que a gente configurou. Bom, por fim, na responses, né, dentro de um programa, a gente inicia esse programa com um objeto que é o geofence-entry, e na sequência a gente pode desenhar qualquer tipo de régua, estratégia ali, a jornada do cliente que a gente quiser, desde envios de campanha de e-mail, SMS ou push. Obviamente, o e-mail, o SMS, a gente vai conseguir impactar esse usuário desde que ele esteja identificado na plataforma. Caso contrário, for um usuário anônimo que nunca se logou no app, a gente vai ter a possibilidade de impactar ele apenas no canal do push. Então, dentro das campanhas, existe a possibilidade de imprimir esses valores que veio lá da Bluedot. Então, nesse caso, a gente poderia imprimir o nome da região, no qual seria o nome da loja, provavelmente, né? E os parâmetros extras que a gente configurou ali previamente, como, por exemplo, o cupom de desconto. Então, a gente pode ali brincar com as mensagens. Nesse exemplo, poderia ser algo, você está perto da loja X, aproveite o cupom 15 off em toda a loja. Então, aí vai dar criatividade de cada um para usar como quiserem. Então, basicamente, a integração funciona dessa forma. Ela é muito simples mesmo. Desde que o SDK da Bluedot esteja se comunicando com o SDK da Responses no aplicativo, basta desenhar ali os gatilhos na Bluedot e os programas na Response, que esse fluxo vai funcionar sem problemas. Então, a parte técnica era isso que eu tinha para mostrar para vocês. E também agora acho que a gente também abre ali até para perguntas e dúvidas que tiverem, né?
Boa, Rê. Thanks, Phil. Pessoal, é isso. A gente quis ser bem sucinto e objetivo na hora de explicar para vocês um pouco de como usar, o que dá para fazer. Não é tão complexo do ponto de vista técnico também. Os resultados são realmente muito legais. A gente realmente consegue elevar o patamar das nossas estratégias usando aí mais um dado do cliente, mais uma pegada do cliente usando o Geofence. Então, a gente está super à disposição aí para perguntas. Eu vou lendo aqui, se vocês tiverem alguma pergunta para o Phil, podem fazer em português, a gente traduz, ou se quiserem fazer em inglês também, fiquei super à vontade. Mas eu vou fazer aqui. A Nath perguntou quão escalável é isso, pensando em grandes quantidades de lojas. Não sei se daí o Phil ou o Renan querem responder. But Phil, how many stores can we have in the same account? Does it has a limit for that, or?
There's no limit to that. We can create as many geofences or geolines that are needed based off of the use cases. So no limitations on what we can do. We have a naming convention for each of those, so you can create different campaigns based off of that.
Okay, cool. And there is another question about is there a case you can share with us, like more cases, more use cases with different maybe industries and verticals?
Absolutely. I think the next slide will actually have a download where you can go in and take a look at some of the use cases we have. We would love to talk to anyone who's interested about that and share our experiences that we've seen, both from retail, gas and convenience, the restaurant space, hospitality, gaming, lots of different use cases of driving that engagement with them. So we're happy to share more of those as needed.
Okay, and in general, can you see a bigger growth in one industry, or you see like great results in all industries? Is there like an industry that it stands out based on results?
I would say the three main industries that we've seen is the retail industry of being able to drive people into a store and location based off of offers and being nearby. We've seen the restaurant and hospitality business take off, especially around things like in-store pickup, curbside, or drive-through, where you have pre-orders and you need to understand where your customer is at, or if they pulled into a curbside spot. So the other trend that we're seeing in retail and in the restaurants is curbside pickup. So if you've got a location where people are ordering online and then picking up at the store, being able to inform both your staff as well as the customer who's picking it up is key. So we have solutions there as well that really help with communicating both to the staff as well as that customer who's coming to pick those up. The other big trend that we're seeing is with gas stations, gas and convenience. If I am getting gas, how can we drive people into maybe make a purchase of a Coke or a food item while they're filling up their tank? The biggest key there is to be accurate, and that's where our technology is strong. We know that they're at the pump, and so we can deliver that message at the right time. They're not driving by, they're not nearby, they're on your site, and then we can engage with them to drive them inside the store to pick that up.
Okay, great. Another question is about the Salesforce integration. You said you have Salesforce integration. Do you want to explain a bit more how it works? Is it different from responses? Is it the same?
It's pretty similar, where we take a trigger that's happening from our geofence and we'll pass that over to the Salesforce Marketing Cloud to be able to engage with those customers. So they see that event come through and they build a campaign around that. So if I see this person entering the store, I can send this type of message that can be both personalized with the person's name. We can pass along store information based on that geofence. So it can be a very personalized message that we send to them across that for location.
Amazing. The other questions about reports. What kind of reports can we extract from Bluedot? Can we use the technology to transform the reports and to better understand, for example, people who went to our stores, who didn't buy it, like a cart abandonment or browsing in the store?
Yes. And so we have very open data that we can pass into your data systems that you have today. So whether that's going to a CDP or you want to take that raw data into your system, what's great is with that mobile user, typically you have an ID that's set for them. So we can pass all of that metadata along with that breach of the geofence. So the example that you gave of somebody enters my store, we can pass that to your systems, and then you can see, did they actually make a purchase while in store, or were they just browsing that day? Maybe that's an opportunity to send them an email campaign to maybe drive them back into the website to make a purchase, where they went and they saw some great stuff, but they didn't quite make that purchase. So all of our data is open, and we want to pass that to the right systems for you to consume with other data that we wouldn't necessarily have access to, things like purchase data inside of a store or others. So we can definitely do that.
Okay, cool. Nowadays, we can only send communication for clients who allow us to for the app to access the location for everything, or can we use for those cases when the client allows us to access the location when the app is open? How does it work?
Yes, so if the customer is granted permissions for location, and we can work with brands as well as Pmweb can work with the brands of what's the value. So it's always important to communicate that to your app users. We want to use your location for curbside pickup to give you better offers or reminders. You're going to see a higher opt-in rate. And now once that happens, and if they grant permissions to use the tool all the time or location all the time, even if the app is in the background or closed, we can get to a geofence. The geo lines will need that item to be in either the background, not hard closed. But if it is hard closed, we have strategies for that as well. We also have strategies for things like curbside pickup, where if they're only sharing while using, we can actually turn it on during that pickup event and then turn that back off once they've actually picked that up. We do that for a major brand here in the United States to be able to work with them. So happy to talk through those specifics, what you can and can't do, and also to up that both push opt-in rate as well as location opt-in rate, so you can communicate to more your app users.
Great. And how long does it take for implementation? Maybe Renan can help us with that. And for Phil, for sure, is it possible to make like a pilot or POC to like a trial?
Tá, na parte de implementação, ela é realmente muito rápida, tá? Então, basicamente, vai depender do time de desenvolvimento do app. Então, acredito que em torno de uma semana, assim, seja suficiente para colocar o SDK, fazer os testes necessários, tá? Ela é uma implementação bem rápida.
And on the pilot side, absolutely, we're willing to work with Pmweb to set you up with, what your success criteria would be for a pilot, and look to roll that out so you can test the technology, see how it works, and hopefully move forward with that across your entire organization.
Cool. Another question, many questions. This is good. Is it real time? The communications can be real time, or they need to have like a delay, like from the time the client arrives at your store? How long does it take to send the communication?
That's a great question. So with our patented technology, as you get close to that geo line or the geofences that we showed earlier, our technology actually ratchets up how quickly we look at location data. So it's within milliseconds of you passing that particular information that will send that to responses or to Salesforce or somebody else to send that message out. So no delays. We always like to say, it's a no latency, highly accurate solution. So we know you've crossed that line. And when we do, we're going to send that message within, hopefully milliseconds is when we pass that over to an Oracle to send out that push notification.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Another question is about all the configuration of the geofence. Is it made on Bluedot at responses through the program in the campaigns? How does it work, like to configure everything? Yes,
so we actually have a team that can help our customers with that. Creating those geofences are done within our tool. We can upload, if you've got thousands of locations, we can upload those with a standard geofence around those. Our customers can go in and create those as well, but we have a customer success team that can assist with that. The geofence creation has happened within our tool. And then we will pass the right information to responses where you'll create that campaign. And so they'll look for that geofence trigger and decide, do I want to send this particular message? We also have the ability to do some things within our tool of looking at time of day. So if somebody passes by when a store is closed, we can either not pass that to an Oracle or to another tool, or we can pass it to them and they may have that rule to say only send it during business hours. So we have some ways to actually make sure that when the data is passed along, it's something that you can take action on.
Okay. And is it possible to activate something because the person has stayed in your store for like half an hour, or if the person stayed less than half an hour, I do not activate the campaign?
Yes, we can take a look at that to set that up with what we call dwell time. So if somebody has been waiting for a certain period of time and we haven't seen that, what we call an exit event, where they've left that geofence, we could look to create a rule to send to responses to trigger a message around that. We've also seen that for an exit event. We've seen it be successful to trigger a survey. One of the biggest challenges we see is after somebody has gone through experience, actually get them to fill out a survey around their experience. So this is something that we can look at as well to help get a higher response rate on surveys based off of they've left that location. So now is a good time to ask.
Okay, and if the person has been in my store like 3 times, can I activate after like the 3rd visit or the 4th visit?
We'd have to take a look at responses where we're passing that on the profile, and there may be something there that they can say on the 3rd visit, we can do this. We do have the ability to put time caps on that, as well as only send once every 12 hours or 24 hours or 3 days. What we don't want to do is over message people around that. So there would be ways for us to probably work through that to make sure, one, we're not over messaging, or is this part of a campaign where I see somebody has entered the 3rd time and now I want to trigger a message to them.
Okay, so in this sense, the other questions about using historic data, we can save this data. So we can say, for example, this person, I can save like the person has been in my store once, twice, 3rd time, and I can save this data to use it as a trigger for like the future, like this last 30 days. This person has been like 3 times.
Absolutely. So we'll integrate into CDPs or any other data platform. So you'll get all of that information. We've seen that as well, where people will add a attribute to that. So they know where they shop, or maybe they've gone to a certain event where there's a sponsorship at, and maybe you want to send them an email message or something else later on. So the great thing is we're able to, anytime we have that trigger, if that person is logged in, we have their usage information or their user information that we can pass as an attribute that helps you build out that profile in the user to do exactly what you're talking about.
Amazing. We have 2 more questions, and I think we'll be over soon. Is there a risk we should be aware of because of the GDPR, LGPD, like all this data law protection?
The great thing here is this is all first-party data that users are opting into. So in order to get location data, the user has to go in and say, yes, I'm going to allow you to have this. So that's great. And that's where we talk about building out that value of, we call it the give get. So why would I share my location? What's the value I get? So being very clear with that as a brand of how you use it, why you will use it, what's the value to the customer. What we see is that opt-in rate go way up when people do that. So because they're opting in, that makes it much easier for us around regulations.
Okay, great. And the last question is about how is the minimum area we can define. For example, we can define it if it's like a store, but can we define it's like a section in the store? How small can that be?
It can get down to very small. Inside locations can be a little more challenging. We may want to make that a little bit bigger, but outdoors of, did they enter a particular door or area? For one of our customers, we actually identify them at the drive-through order window. So we have a geo line that's down to about 3 meters where we understand which car is at that order window. And so we're able to actually integrate into their menu board to show their name, their loyalty points, and do that type of personalization. So that's great. What I would want to do is talk through about how would you use that data. I've worked in retail a long time and worked with brands that wanted to understand, as somebody's passing through a store, maybe they're waiting in the men's department for a little bit or the women's department for a little bit. Do I want to send them a message? And what I would say is that's a great approach long term. Let's work on something that we can drive engagement much easier, quicker around that. Many times as I shop with my wife, I may be sitting on the chair in the women's department as she's trying on clothes and going through that. So that might not be the right time to send me a message. It could be a great time to send her a message. So we want to make sure we understand that data and information to drive the right type of campaigns.
Perfect. Last question. Is there a limit of locations that we can include per key?
There aren't a limit of locations. We would work through that on the contract side. But again, we've got over, I think it's 2 to 3 million points of interest that we've created in our system. So we can create those geofences around different locations and information. If it's looking to collect data, what we'd want to walk through is the value. So why are you collecting that data? How will you use it? Because that's that important relationship that you have with your customer. If it's valuable to them and can give them better offers or better understanding, fantastic. But we like to say, think about how you want to engage with your customer and what's the locations that'll be important to you. But we can create, we have some customers that have thousands and thousands of geofences that they've created for their stores, their competitors' stores, other information where they're trying to collect data.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Phil. Pessoal, sei que deve ter, a cabeça está fervendo aí com várias ideias. Eu acho que a gente tem muita coisa para fazer. Acho que dá para realmente elevar o patamar das nossas estratégias, dos resultados, usando a Bluedot. Como o Phil falou, nós somos o parceiro principal deles aqui na América Latina. Então, se vocês quiserem saber mais sobre a solução, sobre precificação, sobre como funciona, qualquer outra informação, me chamem o estratégico que cuida da conta de vocês. Se vocês não são clientes da Pmweb ainda, mandem um e-mail para o comercial que a gente, ou para mim mesmo, que a gente endereça aqui dentro, e a gente tem certeza que dá para fazer muita coisa legal. Então, obrigada aí a todos que assistiram e nos falamos. Até mais. Thanks, Phil. Thanks, Renan.
Thank you.
Obrigado, pessoal.